This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas.
And I'm Erika Kristensen. Tonight on the Scorecard.
Luka Dončić's shocking trade to the Lakers costs him $116 million in Supermax deal. Red Bull confirms absence from 2025 F1 car launch as Horner looks ahead. SGA pulls out of bronze medal game in protest at Dubai Championship. Meanwhile, in the NBA, Jackson drops 37 as the Grizzlies beat Bucks 132-119 without Ja Morant. While the Pistons shot down the Bulls during their Detroit face-off. And we have Philippine men's football team standout Daisuke Sato in the BNC studio to talk about his winning moves in and out of the pitch. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 3rd of February. Now here's our roundup.
In one of the most surprising trades in recent NBA history, Luka Dončić is leaving the Dallas Mavericks for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the move not only shakes up the whole league, but also costs Dončić a massive $160 million. Oh my goodness, ouch. Now, the young superstar who was in line for a $345 million Supermax extension now qualifies for a mere $229 million contract after being dealt outside the window required to trigger the Supermax rule. Now, people are asking, why the drop? The NBA Supermax extension can only be earned if a player remains with the team that drafted them for at least 4 years or is traded while still on a rookie contract. Now, since Dončić's trade to the Lakers falls outside those parameters, he loses the chance at the bigger payday. While $229 million is still an enormous amount, obviously, it's still a steep price to pay for a trade that could change the future of the Mavericks. Fans are left questioning while Dallas dealt away their 25-year-old franchise player who led the team to the NBA Finals just last season. The Lakers, meanwhile, have snagged a generational talent without parting with a superstar of their very own, creating a major power shift in the league. This move will have far-reaching implications both for the future of the Mavericks and the NBA landscape. As the dust settles, though, all eyes are on how this monumental trade will reshape the championship race and the NBA's financial future.
Red Bull will not hold an official car launch ahead of the 2025 Formula One season, as confirmed by team principal Christian Horner. Instead, the team will debut their 2025 Challenger during preseason testing in Bahrain, while other teams like Ferrari and Williams are sticking with their traditional car reveals. Red Bull, along with Mercedes, will skip the fanfare. Instead, Red Bull's RB21 will take to the track for a filming day with Max Verstappen and new driver Liam Lawson in Bahrain on February 25. Horner highlighted that 4 teams, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull, are expected to be highly competitive. This year promises to be a stellar one, with all top teams poised for a strong performance.
Strong Group Athletics has made a bold move, pulling out of the bronze medal game at the 34th Dubai International Basketball Championship. Now, this decision comes after a controversial semifinal loss to Tunisia, where SGA fell short 63-68, citing officiating issues as a key factor in their defeat. In a statement, the team expressed frustration over multiple non-calls throughout the whole game, claiming these missed calls had a major impact on the final score. SGA is calling for fairer officiating in future matches, emphasizing the need for equality and respect for the game. As a result, though, they've opted not to compete against the United Arab Emirates, ending their campaign very early.
Now, more from the NBA. Jaren Jackson Jr. exploded for 37 points, leading the Memphis Grizzlies to a 132-119 win over the Milwaukee Bucks on Saturday night. Memphis extended its dominance over Milwaukee, winning its 7th straight matchup despite playing without Ja Morant, who reportedly suffered from a sore right shoulder. Jackson, who briefly left the game after taking an elbow to the face, returned strong and hit 7 of 13 from 3. Santi Aldama, who chipped in with 23 points, and Desmond Bain, 22 points, stepped up, while Zach Edey posted a double-double with 14 points and 11 rebounds. Scottie Pippen Jr. contributed 9 points and 10 assists. The Bucks, struggling with 4 losses in 5 games, got 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists from Giannis Antetokounmpo, while Chris Middleton added 20 points. Memphis has now won 8 of its last 9 games and showing no signs of slowing down.
Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls started hot but couldn't keep up as the Detroit Pistons powered their way to a 127-119 victory on Sunday. Despite a 35-point first quarter, the Bulls' struggles in the paint and sloppy turnovers turned the tide. Detroit outscored Chicago 80-44 in the paint, capitalizing on their size and physicality. A 13-2 Pistons run in the second quarter flipped the momentum, sending the Bulls into halftime down 64-54. Chicago's three-point shooting, outscoring Detroit 18-3 from deep in the third, kept them in it, but defensive lapses and Jalen Smith's absence left them very vulnerable inside. The Pistons dominated the restricted area, shooting 9-12, making it impossible for the Bulls to rally. The final score was closer than the game itself as Detroit controlled the tempo late. Chicago will need to tighten up defensively as they look to bounce back.
And here's your daily dose of sports lingo. Ever wondered what it feels like to gamble everything for victory? In chess, it's called a gambit, a daring sacrifice that could either lead to glory or disaster. Step into the mind of a strategist where every move teeters on the edge of brilliance and risk. A gambit is a strategy where a player sacrifices material, typically a pawn, to gain an advantage in position. The most famous gambit is the King's Gambit, where white sacrifices a pawn early in the game by advancing their f-pawn to gain control of the center. This move has been popularized in many classic games and has even been the subject of novels, movies, and TV shows like The Queen's Gambit. So next time you make a move, remember in chess, it's not just about the pieces you play, but the risks you're willing to take.
It is time for our off-court buzzer. Elisa Valdez gives fans a sigh of relief after injury scare in Creamline's win over Cignal. Elisa Valdez is feeling so much better after a brief injury scare during Creamline's thrilling 5-set victory over Cignal. The Creamline star was forced to exit the game in the second set after a sudden pain in the knee, an injury she had previously battled. However, after receiving treatment on the sidelines, Valdez was able to do a light warm-up on her own and reassured fans about her condition. Valdez shared how she gave coach Sherwin Meneses a quick look early in the match, signaling the discomfort she was feeling at the time. She's thankful that her team's medical staff has been on top of everything.
Now I'm feeling so much better after being able to siguro na chinek din naman ako ng mga PT namin si PT Harry and PT Jigs, and Doc Canlas also messaged na. So, doing well.
Valdez will undergo a precautionary checkup in the coming days to fully understand the cause of her discomfort, but for now, she remains very optimistic and is determined to get back on the court. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 3rd of February. When we return, get to meet Philippine men's football team standout Daisuke Sato and learn his winning moves in and outside the pitch. So watch out for that right here on
The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. He is one of the most intense football players on the Philippine men's team roster, always focused, strongly determined. Now, Erika and I have the privilege tonight of dissecting his winning mindset. Let's welcome to the BNC studio, Daisuke Sato.
Yeah, hello Daisuke.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again.
So nice to see you again.
And thank you so much for dropping by the Scorecard tonight.
My pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we're just gonna dive straight into it, Daisuke. You know, I think I can speak in behalf of the whole Philippines that you are such a complete asset to the whole Philippine football community.
Thank you.
You know, of course, bringing in your extensive international portfolio here as well. I know that you've played in Japan, in Romania, even in my home country, Denmark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, even in Denmark as
Right.
well. And you've played a couple of years in Thailand. And then last September of not September, but the beginning of 2024, you've signed with Davao, started playing for them, and then fast forward a couple of months after, you're now with Unauthorized FC.
Right.
So, Daisuke, what made you want to come back here and play for the Philippine football?
Yeah. Long story short, Philippines gave me everything. They changed my life. Since I joined with the Scouts, I changed my life. So I want to give something back to the country and the football community. So that's my main purpose to come back to the Philippines. Yeah.
And of course, aside from playing professionally here, when you say giving back to the Philippines, what other plans do you have to give back to the community, as you said?
Definitely. I mean, I wanna make a way for the younger generation, to Japan, to give the opportunity in football to Filipino kids. So that's what I want to do in the future. Right now, of course, my focus in professional football, as a professional football player, but then that's something that I want to do, and I want to build, aside from football, I want to build something more.
That's amazing.
All right, so Sato, I was looking at your Instagram. Very interesting. You have almost 500,000 followers. And I noticed that the hashtag that you always use for a lot of your posts is underdog mentality. You're from Davao City. Could you tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings and how you developed that kind of mindset, that underdog mentality?
Yeah, I grew up with a single mother. My life has always not been so easy for me, for my family. So, such a young age, I had that kind of mentality. I came from nowhere, but then with football, I would change my life. That's how I told myself that one day I'm gonna be a professional football player to change my life, my family's life. Luckily, I made it what I wanted. I made it to this level, and then that's actually how it all became, because of my background. So that's the underdog mentality. Yeah, whatever I do, always I go with that mentality,
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can really relate to that hashtag of yours, which is why I really love that it became your trademark.
Yeah.
But jumping back to what you said earlier, Daisuke, about football changing your life, just out of your curiosity, in what ways has it specifically changed your life, inside and outside of your professional career?
Of course, football, I grew up with like I said, I grew up with the difficult, financially difficult. So I made money with football. I made my life with football. Now, thank God, I have family. I have daughter. My daughter go to school because of football. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Your daughter, who I super love, by the way.
Nayla, yeah,
I'm
her
so
name is
close
Nayla.
to his daughter, and I just fell in love with her instantly when I met her in Malaysia, where you guys played with the Ascals.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, now fast forward to today. We all know that you have already signed and is playing together with Unauthorized FC, and I know that you guys are doing amazing. By the way, they're number 3rd in the PFL right now, your current standing. And I would like to greatly attribute that to the coaching style of Coach Giovanni, who was the former coach also of Laos FC.
Right.
So how have you adapted to his coaching style, and how does his coaching style differ from the other clubs that you've played?
First of all, he's a very nice coach, inside and outside. He's a personally very nice guy. It's very easy to adapt because he tried to adapt to the players as well. Some coach can be very difficult. We have to just adapt to the coach, but then he always adapt to us as well. So we work in good way. So it's very lucky to have him as a coach. Very happy to work with him. Yeah, it's been very easy. And then look at where we are now. We are getting the result. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sato, looking at your pictures here on the big screen, one thing that caught my eye is actually your jersey number, 66. You're probably the only player I know of who is prominent and wears that jersey number. Is there a story behind this? What's the story behind going with 66 for one tagig?
Actually, it's 2020 when the COVID was, happened.
Yeah.
I got to talk with the fortune teller. How you say fortune teller?
Yes, yeah.
And then that time, it was a difficult time for everybody, for me as well. So I asked him, like, what's my lucky number?
Yeah.
And then he said that my lucky number is 6.
Wow.
And then it could be nice, but at that time 6 was already taken in my team. So then I was thinking, 66. And I asked him, 66 is okay? And I said, yeah, that's very good. So
Double the luck.
double the luck, yeah. Thank you. Double the luck, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I believe in this kind of thing sometimes.
Yeah, of
Good
course.
thing, I believe.
And I think it's working because, as Erika said, you're number 3 right now in the PFL.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we want to be here. Of course.
Okay, I like how you put that in there, Sato. Good job.
I love that. Very witty of you, Sato. I love that. All right, and how would you describe the team culture of One Taguig?
Team culture, we are very nice group, but then sometimes we can be very hard to each other because that's what we need. We cannot be just nice and then sweet to each other because we have to demand a lot to each other. So that's the way only we can get a result in the league. And then we have many young players as well. So I try to give a lot of guidance to the young players. We have many big potential players, but no experience. That's something that really a lot of challenge to the seniors because of course, they can be sometimes wrong. I can be wrong as well, but then they don't know. They have no experience, so we try to pass the experience to guide them in a good way. But then so far, I love the boys, I love the group. Because of this group, I can really work hard, and then hopefully we can achieve what we are aiming for.
Which is the most important thing.
Yeah,
All
like I
right.
say.
Number 1, there you go.
Wait, Erika, before we go, I'm dying to ask this question. I saw on your Wikipedia page, you play left back, right?
Right.
So I'm not a football player. My understanding, though, is when you play left back, you're a defender,
right.
So you're supposed to defend the strikers, the scorers of the opposing team. Give me 3 names of strikers that you played against in your career that gave you such a headache, like, oh man, I have to stop this guy from scoring. Give me 3 names.
3 names.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 is enough.
Okay, 1 is enough. Who was the striker that really, got you worked up for a match?
Van Persie.
Oh, okay.
From Netherlands national team.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay.
Van Persie.
Yeah, why? What made it so hard to defend this guy?
I couldn't even touch him. I couldn't even touch him.
And this is already Sato talking, by the way. One of the best defenders we've ever had.
But we talk about that's best defender in the Philippines
Yes.
or Asia, but he's the world best
Exactly.
winger. I couldn't even touch, really. He was already 33, 34. He was playing in Turkey. We were in a training camp in Turkey, so we had a game, like a tune-up game, and then he just played so easy. But I really wanted to eat him so bad, the people who know me, my playing style. So I was like how do you say, pit bull, like a bulldog, But I couldn't even touch him, and then that's the time I realized myself, the level is so far. But then lucky to have that opportunity to feel that world-class player.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from underdog mentality, bulldog mentality now, as what Sato mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and then underdog mentality, of course, I had so many doubts from the people sometimes, or since the young age, you cannot make it to the professional, or you cannot do this, maybe you will not reach that goal. That kind of doubts is always music to my ear, that change to the energy that I will prove the people. So every time when people doubt about me, that gives me really a lot of energy. So then that's how I prove to the people. So that's the underdog mentality. Yeah.
And I mean, Sato, look at you now. You're the one who's inspiring kids already, the younger generation. So again, thank you so much for coming here and sharing a part of your story.
Thank you.
When the scorecard returns, we will look into the upcoming NBA matchup so you can keep your eyes on the prize.
Welcome back to the Scorecard. It is time to keep your eyes on the prize. Anton Roxas will break down the upcoming matchups to deliver key insights that might just give you the edge that you need to stay ahead of the game.
Thank you very much, Erika. Check ko lang ha, sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon. Okay pa ba kayo? Are you guys okay? Nakapag-recover na ba kayo sa news that happened over the weekend? Because yes, it's that time of the year again when NBA fans start convincing themselves that their team is one piece away or that nobody wants to see us in a 7-game series. So, let's break this thing down. Who's got the juice? Who's just pretending? And which team is one rolled ankle away from tanking their entire season? Let's go to the favorites right here. Simulan na natin dito. The Boston Celtics and OKC. Look, I'm not saying na guaranteed yung pag-repeat ni na Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the rest of the Celtics, but they are poised to run it back. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown finally broke through and got their rings, and now they're hungrier than ever. This roster is as stacked as any in recent memory, and you can feel the city buzzing. Kristaps Porzingis has been a perfect fit, and Jrue Holiday is the kind of guy who wins you a crucial playoff game in May. And then, there is this team right here with this guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. How did we get here? Sam Presti has been playing 4D chess for years, and now this season, it's all coming together. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has hit the I might be the best guy in any playoff series level. Chet Holmgren, he's a unicorn, and the Thunder just play fast and smart basketball. The only concern, they might be too young. But that never stopped the 09 Magic from making it to the finals, adding to their momentum. On December 22, OKC locked up Alex Caruso with a 4-year, $81 million extension. And that's the kind of move that keeps a young team steady in crunch time. You can't put a price on a guy who does all the little things. Now, the wild cards. Lakers and Bucks. The Lakers are the ultimate roller coaster. One night, they look like they can win it all. The next, they're shooting 19% from three and losing to a young Houston team. Now, look at this. Look at this right here. The Lakers made a bombshell trade, sending Luka Dončić to Los Angeles in exchange for Anthony Davis. Now, while this changes the trajectory for the Mavs and the Lakers, the big question for the Lakers is, can Luka, who's injured right now, lead them deep into the playoffs? Or is this just a temporary fix? With LeBron aging and his health unpredictable, Luka might be their best hope for a true title run. LeBron James is 40 years old, and that has to matter at some point, right? Now, as for Milwaukee, they're weird. They're really weird. One moment you think they're a championship contender, the next they're losing to a weak team. You think Giannis and Dame would be cooking teams every night, but it hasn't been that smooth. The defense has taken a hit, and crunch time offense still looks a little bit clunky. It doesn't help that Chris Middleton looks like a shell of his former self. And the long shots, the Mavericks and Clippers, let's talk about them. Dallas is like a high-speed sports car with no brakes. But let's talk about the addition of Anthony Davis, now working alongside Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson. This gives the Mavs a terrifying front court and a defensive presence they needed badly. But the question remains, can Anthony Davis stay healthy and live up to expectations? Or will his injury woes derail the season? Jason Kidd's rotations also feel like he's pulling names out of a hat sometimes. Now let's go to the Clippers. This guy, okay? He's in and out of the lineup, which makes them a giant question mark. Kawhi and Harden. On paper, this should be a team good enough to make a run, but the second you start believing in them, something goes wrong. Napanood na natin to. We've seen this movie way too many times. Right now, it's Boston's title to lose. Here are the odds. After that gargantuan Luka Dončić and Anthony Davis trade, okay? Denver is lurking. Cleveland and New York, they're sneaky threats. but Luka Dončić. He is now the centerpiece for the Lakers, while the Mavericks get Anthony Davis to shore up their defense and pair with Kyrie Irving. This is a seismic shift in the West. But let's not forget, the health of both stars is key. This is the NBA, baby. Chaos, drama, and a whole lot of what-ifs. Buckle up, because it is about to get wild. Woo! That wraps up tonight's preview, so you can keep your eyes on the prize.
There we go now. Think on this. From former Spanish tennis player who won 22 Grand Slam singles titles, including a record 14 French Opens and held the world #1 ranking for 209 weeks. Rafael Nadal once said, however great your dedication, you never win anything on your own.
And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next week on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Billionario News Channel. I'm Anton Roxas.
Once again, I'm Erika Kristensen. Have a good evening, guys.
Good night.